Alright guys, welcome back. Combat replay for December 18th, now in progress, and this could be a big one with the American carriers cornered near Rabaul. A quick note on that before we get too deep into this replay. We had some discussions about a possible mulligan for the last turn, and the reason for that is that my opponent apparently did not intend for his carriers to stay there an extra day, as what happened. We talked about why that might have happened to him, and he actually did submit an alternative set of orders to me with different settings trying to get that carrier battle group to move, and they still didn't move. That said, he also mentioned that there were refueling operations that were supposed to happen, and I think in all likelihood it's that refueling operation that's causing them to hold up. I don't know if he's trying to refuel from another task force in the Hex, or he's trying to go somewhere else and they don't have enough fuel to reach that destination, so that maybe they're waiting in place for that task force that's been assigned to refuel them to arrive, because they don't have the fuel to make the trip themselves. But, you know, the replenishment or the alternative replenishment task force, if it's not actually Oilers, but they have the fuel to make it to the carriers. In any case, he couldn't get them to move. So the request was made, well, since there's, apparently a bug in the game, can you just, kind of take this turn off, this turn meaning the 18th, which we're watching now? And my answer to that was, of course, a hell no. Like, there's no way that I'm going to let him, sit there for several days bombing my amphibious task forces, and I'm just going to agree to give him an extra turn to run. So that didn't happen. I proceeded with my orders as I intended, to ambush his carriers, and that's what this turn is going to be the result over. So, I mean, it looks like we have two enemy carriers cornered, and they're out of fuel. So out of fuel that he couldn't get them to move last turn. So it's looking pretty bad, and it's looking so bad that if this goes my way, I'm not even going to feel that good about it. Because of the fact that I want him to be able to give me my best game, and I don't want a good outcome for me to be the result of maybe he had settings wrong, or maybe he didn't understand the way refueling was going to work, that sort of thing. And that's why I gave him opportunities to redo the last turn to try to get them to move. But he said, let's just proceed, so here we are. With that said, so the first thing here is another shelling at Tay-Tay. There's still enemy ships there. Doesn't look like anything too valuable is there left over. All small fries getting hit, and one of these hits looks like it could sink this patrol gunboat. Moving on. Force C making an appearance. We've not seen you guys in a while. We're a little under strength at this base, so much so that we do have reinforcements now being escorted by a covering force on the way here, but the timing here is pretty fortunate, because the covering force that I have here is not good enough to take on Force C. Also noticing that the Boise is here. That is not normally part of Force C, so this is now a combined British-American task force. The Boise is a very good ship, so we need to hunt these guys down. I'd really like to know where they're operating out of, because I think if they were operating out of Singapore, we'd see that by now. We have recon flights over Palembang and haven't spotted them yet. Maybe Batavia. Maybe Batavia. Anyways, let's go ahead and skip forward here. Other than the Boise, these all look like British ships, so it's probably the only addition. We're benefiting from the thick jungles here. 8 combat squads disabled is not so bad. not have these guys in deep water. Oh, but we have the deep reaching depth charges. And despite having the deep reaching depth charges, we still got a message that it was not reaching deep enough. Wonderful. Just picking up a lot of task forces around Milne and Port Moresby. Alright, going into Clark with a sweep. Lots of P-40s on cap here. Definitely seeing the durability of the P-40 here, getting lots of hits on them. We only just now got our first shoot down in this engagement. Man. Another one that gets damaged but not shot down. Just can't seem to bring these guys down. There we go, finally. Damn it. Well, so that was 2-1. With lots of enemy planes shot up, so at least we've got that much. Hopefully if we can get their cap numbers down, we can just start bombing the airbase again. Finish off some of those damaged planes on the ground. Well, we just turned a 2-1 into a 3-1 there. Guess I'll take it. I don't remember ordering this, but I guess I'll take it. Ooh, lots of planes over Manila. So we're going to be outnumbered here. Or maybe not, since they're breaking off so quickly. Okay, yeah, we're not going to get outnumbered just because they're arriving so slowly. Oh, as soon as I say that, the numbers were briefly in their favor. Okay, so... I don't know, was that actually 2? I forgot already. Alright, got another sweep on Manila. Get to add to these numbers a little bit. Another P-39 bites the dust. These guys seem to be going down a lot easier than P-40s. Alright, so I think that's 3 P-39s total. So that's not too bad. So overall, 6 enemy fighters between Clark and Manila at the cost of 1-0. Oh, here we go. Well, look at this. No cap. Absolutely no enemy fighters protecting their carrier battle group here, which means these ships are dead in the water. They could not turn into the wind to launch aircraft. Not capable of flight ops, completely out of fuel. And we are just ravaging these guys. Enterprise and Lexington have both taken multiple bomb hits at this point. There's another one on Enterprise. Oh, come on, don't fire torpedoes at destroyers when we have aircraft carriers that are out of fuel and can't avoid the torpedoes. That's the way it's done. Alright, Lexington's basically dead at this point. 3 torpedo hits and it was already critically damaged by bombs. Still gotta hit the Enterprise, guys. Don't waste your time shooting at destroyers. Alright, well, let's look at this. I didn't see more than one aircraft get shot down by flak, and honestly, if we lost a whole bunch, I wouldn't care. 4 torpedo hits on the the Lexington. That is not survivable. She's a goner. Enterprise with 5 bomb hits, heavy fires, heavy damage. Heavy fires, heavy damage is usually a death sentence, especially for a ship that's as vulnerable as a carrier. And these guys have all their planes aboard, probably. Probably. I mean, they have been transferring their aircraft quite a bit. Maybe I shouldn't assume that. And that's not even a full airstrike for us. This is just... I mean, if this is the Akagi, and it is the Akagi and Kaga attacking, I think each one of them has dive bomber squadrons in the numbers of 30s. So yeah, this is just one aircraft carrier attacking. Alright, getting these guys while they're in the open. I'd say that's a disappointing result. Not a whole lot of damage here. Thunderstorms in the Hex. There you go. Thunderstorms in this Hex, yet the results aren't that much worse. This is a jungle Hex, so between the thunderstorms and the jungle, I'd expect this to be a very poor result. These guys are bombing at really low altitude, though. Yeah, the Manila guys might have been, too. Yeah, basically a nothing raid there. Not expecting much from this raid in the rough. Yeah, no reported casualties. Just getting these guys while they're in the open. Preventing them from getting to Hong Kong, hopefully. And these guys were just trying to slow down so we win the race into that Hex. I think I explained that during the setup. Not bad, not bad. Getting good hits on the base. Not bad. Another base hit. Yeah. Light bombers bombing in the jungle. Not a good combination. Hey, it's you guys again. Can we shoot one down, maybe? Kinda getting annoyed with these guys. There we go. Yeah, the little 30 cals that could. Nice knowing you, SB3. Yeah, I'm not liking the combination of, air and surface attacks on our troops here at Sinkawang. May have to extend my cap a little bit more. It's cool that we got one fighter to go out there, but we might need more. Ugh. Well, at least these guys are at extended range. Probably because the airbase is too small. I would not like B-17s bombing my troops while they're already so weakened from all the damage they took getting bombed while they were still on their ships. Ugh, more B-17s. I really need to replace these Nates. I've got Oscar production ramping up quite a bit, but, I mean, it's basically ramping up from nothing. And we've got a whole lot of squadrons to replace. And even Oscars, if I was using Oscars against B-17s, they're still pretty bad. Yeah, all the planes get through in spite of having fighters on station. Fighters can't catch the bombers. And when they can catch little 30 cal machine guns versus, well, a flying fortress. Alright. Second wave of torpedo bombers. Enterprise takes 2 with a fuel storage explosion. 3 torpedoes and a fuel storage explosion. That's a kill. That is a kill. It was already heavy fires, heavy damage before that. The 3 torpedoes without a fuel explosion would have sunk it. Heck, 1 torpedo without a fuel explosion would have sunk it. So this is tremendous overkill. Confirmation that the ship was fully loaded. Again, these numbers are always low. You can safely double these to get the actual number. So they did not fly their aircraft off to preserve those squadrons, so this ship was lost with essentially the full complement of Carrier Air Wing 6. And, I mean, we didn't see the Lexington in this combat, and that's probably because the Lexington's already gone down. Hello. Trying to escape Hong Kong, are we? Let's see how that goes. Aw, we only got 1 out of 2. That's a shame. Hey, we got a second shot at him. How's that for overkill? Man. Yeah, we're not spreading these torpedoes around very well. 4-3-3. Ouch. But we may have just wiped a task force out. Wonderful finisher off. Probably don't need to keep doing this. I don't think there's anyone here. Not bad for just 5 aircraft. Not bad at all. These guys are in the open, so we get some result in spite of these, well, these bombs aren't that small. Anns aren't so bad. Not nearly as bad as Ida's. Oof. 2 Wildcats shot down by flak. They disable 1 non-combat squad. Maybe cause some disruption. I mean, it's basically too late for these guys. Wake's gonna fall this turn. More bombers at Sinkawang. Can we get a shoot down? Nope. Even with a critical hit, we're just damaging them. At least it's mutual. Doesn't look like the raid was effective. So yeah, between being attacked by a fighter and heavy rain, our troops are hopefully able to hang on with minimal damage. Oh, look at this. Apparently, these incessant raids on Sinkawang have stirred up a hornet's nest, and my fighters in Kuching are happy to come over with numbers now. And we do get a shoot down thanks to that. Nice. I want to give these pilots Oscars now. If they're able to shoot down medium bombers with nades, I want to see what they can do with Oscars. Nice gunnery, guys. Uh-oh. Here's those torpedo bombers I keep worrying about. They're coming in without fighters. Apparently, all those huge numbers of fighters that they have in Singapore are needed to defend the base itself. This is probably a mistake, to be honest. I can't imagine that. He would have wanted to send these guys out without escort. Well, 7 enemy planes show up, 7 go into the water. Nice knowing you guys. Well, after a series of really bad turns, this one's looking like a grand slam for us. There's really nothing that's gone wrong for us so far. I mean, maybe I shouldn't tempt fate like that, because we've got multiple attacks on Sinkwing that are potentially disrupting my troops and leaving them vulnerable to a counterattack from the enemy troops. And they are reinforcing themselves. They're moving a lot of the land forces from throughout that peninsula over to engage our forces on that one space. Okay. And here's a little something going wrong. In spite of outnumbering them badly, this P-39 gets through and shoots down 3 Vals. They may have an ace if he got 3 kills on this one flight. Like, who knows how many other missions that guy's flown. So this is a little disappointing. You can see that my minefield here is gone already, and we just sank the minesweeper responsible for getting rid of that minefield after the minefield's gone. Yeah, thanks, guys. So, the planes that were not needed to attack the minesweeper went to Batangas, where they apparently did not find anything better to bomb than fuel tanks. Hopefully that means there's no ships left there. And hopefully there's no ships left there because they all sank. Deep water, we're not going to get this guy. Definitely not going to get him if we're not even attacking him. Alright, Hong Kong making an attack, and we are at the point where maybe we get it. This is no longer a softening up attack. Alright, so fortifications down to 2. Maintain 2-to-1 odds in that attack. I'm surprised with 2-to-1 and fort level 0 that wasn't an overrun right there. Casualties pretty even. At this, since we're in the end game right now, disablements are almost as good as destruction because he's not re-enabling these guys. So yeah, it's almost exactly even, but exactly even when we already outnumber them this badly, that is actually badly disproportionate losses for the enemy. So they're going to lose far more of their AV than I did for the next turn. So as long as we aren't hugely disrupted from this, quote, failed, unquote, attack, I think we've got it next turn. They definitely don't have long. This is the end game. Alright, so got an undefended dot base we're picking up here along the, well, slightly inland from the east coast. A nothing unit here being attacked by some of our marines. They surrender. Okay. Deliberate attack on Cagayan. We've got some rather weakened enemy forces here. Let's see how we do. Yeah, not that great. Fort level 0, but we didn't have nearly enough assault value to get an overrun. Plus we're fatigued, so that's not helping. Casualties pretty even. Well, I mean, we have a whole lot of squads disabled, so not that even. And overall, the numbers starting are even. So I'd say the enemy came out a little bit ahead on that, but we do have reinforcements on the way. Overrunning Victoria Point, basically a nothing base here. So, getting rid of an air base. So here's Wake. Yeah, 144th Infantry at 94. They were only at 20. We should have it. 2-to-1 odds. There it is.
Greetings, everybody. How's tricks? This is Orphan Anne from Radio Tokyo, saying hello to all of her dog faces and boneheads wandering the Pacific Islands. Before we start the music, the Japanese High Command announced today that the ever-victorious forces of the Japanese Empire have captured Wake.
I'm almost glad we didn't take Hong Kong this turn, so we didn't have to listen to her twice. Anyways, lots of casualties for the enemy. We paid for it. But, you know, whatever. On to Guam, right? Alright, so here's the attack I was kind of worried about. Yeah, our AV is way down. And they have not a whole lot. But maybe enough to force an overrun here. Okay, no, not enough. 1 to 2 odds. They do have more AV than us. And we're suffering from fatigue, but, you know, the terrain bonus often is dispositive. And their squad disablements are disproportionate to ours. So, in spite of the bombardments from Force C and enemy bombers, we've got enough to hold on here for now. Also, reinforcements on the way, but with Force C intervening, well, we're going to have to think about that. Not too thrilled about this, but we should be okay. It looks like we're pretty even. Oh, man. But a bombardment attack results in this many casualties for us? Oof. And it's not like they've got an artillery unit here. Yeah, that is really bad. I guess it's just we have so many squads disabled right now that it doesn't take much to finish them off. Allies bombarding at Hong Kong. This is going to do nothing. Allied shock attack at Taiping. Field regiment. That may be anti-tank weapons. Yeah, I think they've got some AT guns. 17 tanks destroyed, and they pushed us out of the hex. Yeah, I think these are AT guns. Only delaying the inevitable, though. We're just about ready to move into Taiping in force, so if they want to commit more troops instead of getting them back to Singapore, I'm fine with that. Worth the cost of 17 tanks. Alright, well, that's gonna do it. Wow, alright, so, wow, what a turn, right? You know, I kind of wish that the circumstances under which we destroyed the Lexington and Enterprise were a little bit better. It was fun hunting them and kind of cornering them, but taking them out when they couldn't even defend themselves with a cap was a little bit anticlimactic. But I guess I'll take it. I mean, they stuck around for several turns, relentlessly bombing my amphibious task forces, and there's a price to be paid for that. And, you know, they paid it. They stuck around so long that they were out of gas, and I think the fact that they were out of fuel contributed to him not being able to move them last turn. So you know what? That's just how it goes. So we can see the air losses 119 to 13 today. Like, wow. How's that for being lopsided? And these numbers would suggest to me it's just one carrier that went down. They would have lost closer to 200 aircraft if both carriers sank, unless the Lexington evacuated its aircraft first. So we know the Enterprise didn't. I guess we can't rule out that the Lexington might have. So ship sunk. We're getting credit for the whippoorwill. I don't know that was actually sunk yet. These 4 cargo ships escaping Hong Kong are confirmed sunk. And then obviously the Enterprise is confirmed sunk. I don't think we lost anyone this turn, did we? We did not. So how's that for a reversal? I mean, we basically lose no aircraft compared to them. What did we lose today? Okay, yeah, they got the Vals. Yeah, they got through to the Vals when we were attacking the Minesweeper in Manila. Oh, and the Minesweeper, I questioned, did we get them? That was the Minesweeper at Manila. I was thinking about the Minesweeper at Guam that was getting attacked by the float planes. That's the one we haven't sunk yet. But yeah, the Whippoorwill's gone. Relatively light air-to-air loss or air losses for us. Just, yeah, they got through to the Vals, and oh no, we lost a few Kates to flak in exchange for sinking 2 carriers. Hugely beneficial for us. Let's just take a quick look and see if there's anything all that interesting going on in terms of new detections. Okay, so we didn't wipe this task force out. There's 10 enemy ships that escaped from Hong Kong, so we'll have to address that. The enemy did make it into this hex at the same time as us, so we both got away with not having to get forced into an automatic shock attack for crossing the river. So I guess that's good that we didn't lose. Would have been nice to win, although they've still got more on the way. So I see more bombing in the future for these guys. And did we take a lot of disruption and fatigue? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Yeah, I mean, it's worth considering resting them for a turn, but with potentially more enemies coming in. It's my bias is going to be towards attacking. No detections for enemy reinforcements at Rangoon. No fighters present. 70 fighters present at Singapore. They may be moving the entire AVG in here. Either that or they've been able to replace their Buffalo losses enough that they're not really looking weakened at all. So this is a serious problem. You know, it looked like the air campaign over Singapore was going to be rather abbreviated. We can't take Mersing when they have, 59 bombers. I don't know how many of those are still torpedo bombers. But if they want to use even a portion of those 68 fighters to escort those torpedo bombers, they're going to get through. So we need to wear them down a little bit. But if there's no fighters in Rangoon, yeah, that means we really don't need escorts in Bangkok all that much. Looks like they've moved everybody up here. We're not seeing any army units left in Pontianak, although I'm not sure that we would see them necessarily. This might be Force C. 10 ships, including a light cruiser. I'd like better classification than that. And they're inside 2 search arcs. Would have been nice to get better information. It's northwest. Looks like they're going back to Singapore. So that's kind of good news. We're going to be sending fighters to Singapore anyways. Maybe we send escorted Nels and Bettys too. Yeah, I've got nothing against that. It's really a question of fighter fatigue. Nothing much going on here. We really don't have any contacts. Not seeing a whole lot of enemy ships trying to escape, other than these 3 submarines. They might not even just be trying to escape. They might be hunting our carriers. So gotta put some distance between them. At least we're putting pressure on the submarines with our surface task force there. Just 1 ship reported left in Batangas. That's good news. Tay not reported with anything there. Might need to put some more recon on there to confirm. Not a whole lot of recon going on here to confirm that they have ships. And you know what? If Manila had been emptied out, we'd see that. You know, I continue to have port attack orders for Manila, and they continue not to fly. Maybe that's weather. Forecast is going to be overcast for next turn. Hopefully that's good enough to send them in. I don't want to let these guys just get away with this forever. Alright. As for the Solomons region, looks like they're reinforcing Port Moresby, and that includes tankers. You know, a misclassification of tanker could be oiler. Perhaps a replenishment group was waiting here for the Enterprise Lexington battle group to arrive and gas up. So the enemy carrier battle group is still reported to have carriers and aircraft. With numbers like that, I mean, maybe the Lexington hasn't sunk yet. And not only has the Lexington not sunk yet, that could be the Saratoga. I mean, so obviously when it says, like, there's 10 carriers there in terms of classification, there's not 10 carriers there. The Allies don't have 10 carriers. They don't even have the Yorktown yet. Did the Saratoga arrive? But if the Saratoga arrived, are they also out of fuel? Like, we didn't see them. We haven't seen like any information at any point in this about any CVW-3 aircraft flying around anywhere. I mean, that's too many planes for a single carrier. But it seems like it's also not really enough if it's 2. But then you consider how many losses have occurred. And maybe, could the Lexington have picked up Enterprise aircraft? I mean, no, I don't think so, because the Lexington was actually damaged worse in the initial strike. So the Lexington couldn't have been capable of flight ops when Enterprise aircraft may have tried to relocate to it. So that's... But then again, both carriers weren't conducting flight ops this turn, so anything that transferred from the Enterprise to Lexington would have happened earlier. So I guess the most rational explanation is that the Saratoga is in this task force. So they may lose 3 carriers. Man. So, yeah, I mean, we've got 2 carrier divisions closing in. That's not much he can do, especially if he's out of fuel. Not sure why these guys are off on their own. Moving west, moving northwest. Oh yeah, these guys are clearly going to Port Moresby. So yeah, I mean, I want to get all these guys. Obviously, if there's still another carrier other than the Lexington, which, honestly, if the Lexington is there, it's not going to survive the night. But that'll definitely, moving in. This is not a time to withdraw, although, you know, fuel is going to be a concern. But we'll look at that on the next turn. So I'll end it there. We'll see you for the setup of December 19th. Thanks for watching.